Welcome to day 6 of our habit change for emotional eaters. Today, we're going to figure out how you're going to take what you've worked on this week and what you have been, accomplishing and working on, and how we're going to take that forward, right? Because it's only been a few days together. You're learning the tools as you go. You've been, looking and gathering some awareness. So now it's time to figure out how is that going to impact my life going forward? How am I going to continue to show up in this space, continue to show up for the habits that I want to build and the changes that I want to see? Because what happens all too often, and I'm speaking from experience, right? Having been through this challenge for myself, and by challenge I mean food and body challenges, but also how, I've shown up for a lot of different challenges. And while they have been wonderful, I always get something out of them. You don't actually create a whole new life, right? In 6 days, you get some great information, but then you have to continue to implement it. You have to understand how it fits into the bigger picture. And so, what I really want to do today is make sure that you have that full grasp of the big picture and then give you the opportunity to once and for all decide, what do I need in order to take this forward? What do I need to actually stand in this place and know, like, this is the turning point for me? This is the point in my life when I decided, right, I'm going to do what it takes to create what it is that I want in my life, to be who I want to be, to let my challenges be things that I dealt with in the past. But who am I moving forward? That's the questions I really want you to think about today, because that is possible for you. No matter who you are, no matter how long you've been struggling with your patterns, no matter what they look like, it is absolutely possible for you. So I really want to get you in that space today of knowing that, believing that with absolute confidence, and then deciding how you're going to go about doing that. What is the plan of implementation? So one more time, I'm going to go over the 5 pillars and the kind of the secret weapon for being successful with those 5 pillars. And as I do, I want you to ask yourself, really ask yourself, don't just listen, ask, how would my life be different if I have this pillar under my belt? Okay, so pillar number 1 is self-compassion and acceptance for where you are today, even while you work towards change. So what would that look like for you if you had this beautiful acceptance of yourself and recognition that the patterns that I have make perfect sense, and I'm not bad because I have them, and I'm not hopeless, and I'm not broken, right? How can I gently, compassionately, and supportively be there with myself, both now, today, where I am, and also all along the way, as I create and become that version of myself that I know I'm capable of? How would that look different? How would your self-talk look different? How would your emotional state look different if you were loving and supportive of yourself, feeling good in your skin today, right? Exactly as you are. Huge differences, I would bet. The pillar number 2 is the habits. How would your life be different as you continue forward and going through the method, checking in with yourself every 7 days, refining your stepping stones, and really diving into that process? And like I've mentioned through the week, what you're doing is you've got your goal where you want to be up here, you've got where you are right here, and how would your life be different as you took those stepping stones and built those day after day so that you can stay consistent with your habits? What would that look like? The third pillar is your thoughts. So I talked a little bit about, the negative thoughts that plague us, right? That hold us back. How would your life be different if your thinking was one of where you had confidence, where you talked kindly to yourself, where you were optimistic, where you could see that everything in life is an opportunity for you, as opposed to, a set of situation there or a set of circumstances that went wrong? How would life be different if you could see everything as that opportunity to become and to grow and to up-level yourself? How would your life be different if you knew that you didn't have to be perfect in your plan and in your stepping stones in order to make progress? What if you had some grace for yourself, right? And your thinking supported that. And that, again, that with that confidence that you knew you couldn't fail, right? That's the kind of thinking that takes us where we want to go. The fourth pillar being emotional resiliency. How would your life be different if when you felt those emotions of boredom, stress, overwhelm, loneliness, anger, whatever they are, if you welcomed those emotions, understood them, and took the information that they had for you, and then was able to process them and not need things outside of you, whether that's food or shopping or scrolling or gambling or booze or whatever it is, right? How would your life be different if you were settled in the emotions as they come? And actually, so much of the work is about, we don't even need to feel a lot of the emotions that we feel because they come from what I might call faulty thinking, right? A lot of our emotions of, not enoughness, of self-doubt, all of those things they don't really come up. Those kinds of emotions, when your thinking is in alignment with who you want to be, you're not even having to deal with those emotions, which is really beautiful. But we're emotional beings, which is fabulous. And so when emotions do come up, when you have the skill, right, when you've learned how to process your emotions and learn from them, then they become trusted friends and guidance system. Your emotions can be your guidance system. And so how would your life be different if that was the case? You were able to welcome in those emotions or recognize, when I'm overwhelmed, here's what I do to take care of myself, as opposed to the ice cream or the cookies or whatever it is that's currently helping me through those emotional times. And then the fifth pillar being the nutrition. How would my life be different if I wasn't experiencing cravings, if my food gave me energy and it reduced the inflammation in my body and helped me feel vibrant and alive? And a lot of people will say, they can't get back to a place where they were when they were, 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. But, depending on what your goals are and what the nutrition looks like, we don't have to have those limitations. Our food can be an incredible source of, medicine for us. And so, when you're eating in a way that's very much in alignment with your body, you don't have those cravings. You have awesome energy and vitality and good digestion and all the things that really help support you and the life that you want to create. And every body is different. So there has to be an individualized approach. And that's why I do take an individualized approach. I give you the information so you can be the scientist to figure out what works best in your body in order to be able to release weight, feel good, reduce cravings, all of the things that, tend to hold us back when it comes to our nutrition. So these are the 5 pillars, right? And I also have been mentioning throughout the week that these pillars are not obtainable if your nervous system is stuck in survival, if you are in overwhelm, if you lack the energy, if you feel like, oh God, just getting up today, just getting my kids off to school, just showing up to work, just brushing my teeth feels like enough. How am I going to take on something else, right? If that feels more like you, and then your nervous system is most likely in overwhelm, in that survival state, right? Or you may feel like you're frantic most of the time, running from imaginary tigers and, having way too much to do than you can even handle, not feeling really connected, but more like just reacting to what's going on, what's being thrown at you throughout the day. That's probably a nervous system stuck in the fight or flight. And when we're in those states, survival, we don't have access to the part of us that can meet these pillars, that can achieve these pillars. We can't form new neural pathways. We can't even really think new thoughts because that's registered as danger to our brain. So working with a A healthy nervous system is that foundational piece that then we can build and achieve the 5 pillars in a way that is so much easier than the way that you have tried to go about change in the past. When your nervous system is in a calm, alive state, you have access to the most evolved, most brilliant part of you. And in that state, all of these things are easy to do. Changing your thoughts, managing your emotions, changing your habits. And they happen pretty naturally, as opposed to you needing to control yourself and learn the secrets to, what's wrong with me? Why am I possessed this way? I've had a lot of beautiful calls this week with you all, members of the community, and it's it hurts me to hear the way that you see this challenge for you. People literally will say, I feel like I'm possessed. I feel like I have no control in my life, and I get it, because I certainly was there at one point in my life too. And so I know what you're saying and I know how you feel, but it's so funny, when you're on the other side and you're looking at that and you're thinking, wow, all I really needed to do was connect with myself and learn how to do that and learn how to sustain it. Because when I'm in that place, I have no need for things outside of me. I wouldn't even think to go and, get ice cream and let that be or candy or whatever, and let that be the way that I take care of myself. Like, it wouldn't even occur to me anymore. And that's where you want to be, right? You don't want to learn the tools of control. Ugh, who wants to be in that space? That space where you're fighting with yourself. I really shouldn't do this, but I don't know what else. And yuck, right? A lot of people tell me they act in this way with food, but there is no, they don't feel like there's a conversation happening. They're not making a choice. It's just done, right? And again, that is a function of a nervous system that is in survival, acting on autopilot, right? So there are the real ways that we can work with your brain to switch you out of autopilot, to help you stand in those moments when you're feeling triggered and be able to make a different choice, or even better, greatly reduce those triggers so that you're not even in that place. It doesn't even occur to you, like I was saying, to reach for food when you're not hungry. So these are the 5 pillars and the foundational piece of the healthy nervous system that are taught in the Freedom Program. So I said this today was all about, how are you going to take this forward? How is this going to be the impetus for you to step into that life that is possible for you? It is, otherwise you would not have signed up for this challenge. You believe in yourself. The knowing part, the wise woman in you, the powerful woman in you knows that change is possible. Otherwise, you would not have been here. Now, there might be another part of you that says, yeah, but, right? And so I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the buts that come up. And these, I went through them all. I spent years and years and years and years searching for the answer, signing up for little challenges, reading the books, doing all these small things. But it was not until I decided to actually dedicate myself and get the help and support that I needed that I was able to overcome my challenges. I really believe that people can do a lot of really beautiful things on their own, but I also think that it is love, support, guidance, and just being part of a community that really helps us shift really fast. And so I want to tell you about the Freedom Program so that you can think about it. See how it lands on your heart and ask yourself, am I really ready for this big change? Am I really ready to be that person that signed me up for the challenge, right? Because if you are, there's no reason why, right? And I'm going to go through some of the reasons, but there's no reason why you should hold yourself back at this point. The Freedom Program is a 31-week adventure, we could say. And we start with that foundational piece. Like I said, if you've got a healthy nervous system, everything else, all the work that you're wanting to do and that will be effective for you is possible when you have that healthy nervous system. So we start with 6 weeks where you understand how the nervous system plays into your relationship with food and why your nervous system is such a key player in you doing what you don't want to be doing, right? You know what you want to be doing, but you're consistently doing something else. Your nervous system is a primary driver of that. So we start out by looking at your nervous system, understanding where you are most of the time, understanding how you can use tools such as somatic experiencing to change the state of your nervous system so that you get to be connected with your wise woman all the time. Then we move into, the course curriculum, which teaches those 5 pillars in various ways. And every week there is a set of videos and recordings with a download available to you with some integration work. And so every week you have essentially your education, your schoolwork, so to speak, your coursework. And then we come together every week as a group, as a community, and you get your coaching. You get coached on exactly what are my stumbling blocks as I applied this particular lesson for this particular week, the bite-sized little piece that I had on my plate for 7 days. How did I apply that to my life? What were some of the stumbling blocks? And then how are you going to take it forward over the next 7 days? And so, I taught about the stepping stones, right, in this challenge, and that's how we take our journey here is 7 days at a time. So it's not this great big thing out here that you have to have it all figured out. You've got one focus, one thing you're working on, and I help you establish what that is for you, and I help you understand what your thoughts are doing in the background and all of that, so that they don't stop you, so they're not something that is limiting you in this process. So throughout the rest of the weeks, we meet weekly, we go over the integration work. And it is a really incredible experience. People bond together. It becomes a beautiful sisterhood of support and love, where you're in a place where everybody is experiencing something very close to what you're experiencing, right? I can't tell you how many times, I'm coaching one person in the group and somebody else is like, oh my gosh, that just opened up all of this for me because I have, those same feelings. Or sometimes what happens is we see somebody's, big progress in their breakthrough, and we know that, and we understand how the process is working through them. And so that's really incredible. And in that way, over the course of the 31 weeks, we are making these changes and reaching those pillars that ultimately lead to our long-term permanent weight loss. And something that's really beautiful is, as these are also these pillars that we're working on, yes, they do change our relationship with food. They change the way we show up with food. And as a result, we lose weight and get healthier. But the other beautiful thing is working with these pillars. These are the underlying reasons why we have the relationship with food that we do, right? This is not a focus. This is not a diet. Eat this many carbs, do this, whatever. This is a way for you to understand yourself and get connected with yourself so that you no longer want to use food in that way. And yes, we talk about the nutrition for your body and because it's an important piece, as I talked about, but it changes your relationships. It changes your career. It changes the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, and the way you relate in your world. So the consequences of doing this work are literally limitless. You're a different person at the end, and the person that is more in alignment with your authentic, beautiful, authentic, wise, powerful self. And so that is, again, it's not a diet so much as it is an opportunity to find who you really are and live from that place day in and day out. This is the Freedom Program. There's it's online as well as the in-person. And there are other things like bonus meditations and other tools, and a weekly integration work along with practices such as a morning practice, and what it means to take meaningful breaks, understanding your hunger and satiety. There's all the things that we need in order to really know who we are as eaters, and live as the people that we feel most comfortable being, right? So that is in a nutshell. That's a very succinct description. And so now I just want to spend a minute. I was telling somebody yesterday on a call that I'm not a hard sell. I want people to know who I am, what I'm about. I want them to know what some of the other experiences of some of the other people that have worked with me, so that they can just kind of try it on, see what's on their heart. But I'm also somebody who has signed up and done a lot of work for myself. So I've been in programs, and I recognize every time the limitations that come up for me and the messages that come up for me that try to hold me back from investing in myself, and from really allowing myself to take advantage of opportunities. And so I was saying, I really appreciate looking back over the things that I did sign up for and work with people, how much I appreciated them kind of leaning in and helping me see that the reason why I was saying no was just a way that I was holding myself back, because there really isn't any reason why we can't make this happen together. Some people will say, well, I don't have the money. First of all, let me just say, with respect to the pricing here, I get paid in fulfillment largely. And so my programs are priced less than half of what you would see for the amount of contact that the Freedom Program provides. And I love that. I love that because I feel really good about really pricing it at the very bottom of what I can do. And I also work with people, to figure out payment structures and all that kind of thing. So number one, this is priced so well, right? Number one. Number two, a lot of people will say, I don't have the money, but if you're looking at the changes that are going to come in your life, I know you're spending money in other places with this challenge. And I know you're spending a lot of money on food that your body doesn't want or need. And I know you're going to be spending money, on health things that are going to come up. And I know, what I mean? There's going to be a lot of places where you're not going to be spending money, where you've spent money in the past that you're not going to need to once this issue is gone from your life. I'm going to work with you. So I just want to take the money P. Let's take that off the table, right? That's not a reason not to take care of yourself. That's not a reason not to show up. And I also, so many people have come and, either they've been able to look at their lives and see, here I'm trying to create something. But this challenge in my life with food in my body is sucking up so much of my time and energy and life force, right? And I am less effective in the ways that I'm making money. When we take that off the table, you are freed up to put that time and energy and life force into what's your career, into the things that are ultimately going to make you more money. And so again, it's like, yeah, you're going to pay a little something now, but what you're going to get in the end is going to be so much more. You're going to make that back and then some, because you're going to be able to bring your full self to whatever it is that you're doing. The second reason I hear people will say, well, I don't have time right now because I'm so busy with these other things. And I promise you that when you do the work for your nervous system and you are no longer in fight or flight or in overwhelm, you are so much more efficient. And again, your mind is not thinking about, all the things with food, all the challenges and the things that you want for your body. You have more energy because you feel good in your body, right? And so there's so much time and energy that you have available to you that we will unlock together through the program. So you're going to have more capacity. And then, so the work will come in, and you'll find the time. And because we have our weekly meetings, really helps people stay on track and be able to, keep up in the way that best fits them. Now, having said that, I'm very, very aware that, most people are super busy, legitimately, right? You have jobs and families, whatever. And so it is not a lot of work from week to week. You could literally finish in a half an hour, if that's what you have to give, a half an hour in your week. And is ending this struggle, worth finding that, right? This is not hours and hours. It's spread out over the 31 weeks, number one, because you have to have time. I have seen a lot of programs, they're 6 weeks long, 12 weeks long, something like that. And it's just not enough time for us to absorb the material, have life come in and give us the experiences that we need to really deeply root these tools and understandings into our life. And so it is spread out, and you're going to be able to find the time. It's not one of those things where it's, hours every day. Of course, you get out what you put into it. And so it's important to try to make space, but being too busy is not an answer. You're going to get more capacity to do the work, and the work is very, very manageable. And, a lot of people they don't really know why. It's just, maybe soon, maybe, all the different reasons why they don't feel ready to honor themselves and to really show up in a space of readiness. And I get that, because I certainly have felt that at certain times. It can be scary to change. It really can, to wonder, I don't know what that looks like. The brain is resistant to change. The brain definitely, if you're alive doing what you're doing, the brain thinks that's perfect. Let's just keep doing that day after day. But that's not your best life. And we don't have to live from the messages of the safety seeking brain, right? We can expand and live from our authentic, our higher selves, which says, there's more for you, and I believe in you. And so whatever it is, that might be holding you back, it's not a bad thing. It's just, we can look at that and we can say, this has, gone on long enough. I've let whatever it is hold me back from taking this step. And if you want to, we can jump on a call together, we can explore that together, and I can help you work through that, because I believe in you and I believe in the work. I see it day in and day out transform lives. And so I want to make sure that if you're somebody who is thinking that you're ready for that, that I'm here and excited to work with you. Our next group begins on September the 9th. So 2 weeks from yesterday, right? Yeah. We will be diving in and getting ready and changing our lives together. So if you are somebody who is ready to do that, let's set up a call so that we can talk about it and get you signed up. It's if you signed up for the challenge, you're ready. And so I'm looking forward to talking to some of you and welcoming you into the next group. I will also say that if you are feeling, for whatever reason, you're not able at this time to really dive into this journey, totally fine. I'm going to stay connected with you. I'm sure you're on the email list, and there's so many resources there as well. But I definitely want to capitalize on this energy and this momentum that you've got going here and really honor that. I appreciate you just signing up for the challenge and putting your time and effort into that and spending time with me on the videos. So I'm going to put in, you'll see in the Facebook group then, as well as the recording email from today, I'm going to put in the link again for the call. And if you are somebody who is ready for real change, ready to transform your relationship with food and your body so that you free up all of that energy. I mean, I think that, I always joke that, if we could get rid of all of the time and energy that we've been spending on our food challenges devote that to something collectively, we could have solved world hunger, cancer. We could have solved, pretty much everything, because so much of our lives are bound up in that. And so freedom, the name of the program, is what I desire for you, what I believe is possible for you. So if you're wondering about it, even if you're kind of, not quite sure yet, let's jump on together so that we can talk about your experiences and how we can make this happen for you. I am available for any questions right now that anybody may have. So you can put those in the chat. You can certainly unmute yourself. And I have been able to respond to a couple of questions that came in before through the email or the Facebook group. But if Anna or Deb, if either of you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer them.
Okay, I have a question. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm good.
And I'm sorry
Hello.
if I missed. I'm sorry if I missed if you said it. So it's going to be for 31 weeks. Does that include the rewire, or is that a separate thing? I just wanted to get clarification in case I missed it.
Rewire is the foundation, and rewire is the nervous system, the initial 6 weeks of the program. Yeah, definitely going to be included in the 31 weeks. So it's the 6 weeks of rewire, and then 24 weeks for freedom, with options, to continue after. But that is such a foundational piece, as I was speaking about earlier, that it's essential learning for the program. Yeah.
And so what's the schedule for that? Like, what day of the week is that going to be? Yeah. Or is it like rotating?
Yep. So what I've learned that works really well is to have a couple of times, 2 times that we alternate in between. So it'll be a Friday evening the first week, and then the next week a Saturday morning, Friday evening, Saturday morning. And if the meetings are not, if you're afraid that you're going to miss some of the meetings because of the time that they are, I have other options for that on an individual basis. I've had some women, some incredible women from South Africa, from Australia. And so we've had to be a little bit creative in how they will receive their, all of the necessary support. And the other thing that is important about the meetings is that you get to submit your question or something you want to hear more about, or a challenge, or whatever it is beforehand, so that I can address it at the meeting and you have it on the replay, because all of these meetings are recorded and then sent to you usually within 24 hours, so that you can stay engaged and have your particular question answered. Actually, I was mentioning that I sign up for things, and I recently was involved in an intense 8-week course, and the meetings happen to be at times when I hold my freedom meetings. So I wasn't actually able to be at any of the meetings, but because I could submit my questions and had that support as I went through, it actually worked out really well. And so even if you can't be at every single meeting, that's not something that should hold a person back from being in there and benefiting from all the resources. So we can always find a solution for the meetings, but they are recorded and your questions are addressed. So like I said, if you're ready and your heart is telling you want to be free of these challenges, we're going to find a way to make it work together. So again, the link is going to be in the email and also in the Facebook group. So I hope that many of you will think about it and not think about it at the same time, right? Because our minds will definitely give us every reason why now's not the time. So go with your heart, go with that wise, powerful, beautiful, courageous woman who signed up for this challenge and is ready for change, because that's who we want driving the car. That's who we want making the decisions, not the one that's, thinking about all the limitations or all the things that aren't possible, right? Let's lean into possibility here and really create something new for you. Yeah. Anything else?
I don't know if Deb has a question, so I'm going to pause and hold to her, yield to
Okay.
her. And if she doesn't, I have another one.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna. I appreciate your manners. Actually, Lori and I, we spoke. I'm the Deb you spoke to twice yesterday.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. So beautiful. Deb is
I
ready.
don't have any questions. I was just so happy. I have to say that I forgot it was today too. So I listened to the recording this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to go to one live and I can stay for the whole thing. So I'm glad
That's
to be here.
awesome. I'm glad too. It's really nice to connect this way as well as, in our phone calls. I'm excited for you. You're very just such a dynamic person who is, right there ready to up level into this, the things that you've been building already, right? And now bringing it all together. So it's awesome. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Me too. And thank you for your time yesterday again.
Absolutely. It was absolutely my pleasure.
Same. Thank you.
Yeah. Anna, what else can I answer for you, sweetie?
Yeah, so just in case I missed it, maybe, I just wanted to clarify, could you just explain, like, so what's the difference between your program and, let's say, a program that I would go to that would have a diet plan that makes me follow the diet plan and count calories and that kind of a thing? What would be the difference?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of differences, right? And I think that pretty much everybody who finds me has been through that process of trying to figure out what's the right diet for me. How can you, and sometimes people will say, how can you help me stick to my diet, right? And really this program, it's not a diet, right? I'm never going to tell you, here's the exact way you should eat for your body, because how would I know, right? You're the only one that knows what your body needs. You're the only one that knows how you can gently lean into boundaries with food as opposed to setting restrictions, because we know restrictions don't work for you. You wouldn't be here and taking this challenge and engaged in this material if diets worked for you. They don't work for anybody. And so as I was talking about the 5 pillars, the 5 pillars have very little to do with restriction, right? They have everything to do with, reconnecting you with that beautiful place of flow and ease. The place I'm talking about. Every single one of you have had moments, at least, and they may be moments, and that's okay, but moments where you're just feeling calm and connected with yourself. And when you're in those spaces, you don't even think about food. Or you might, there might be a little thought about, oh, that sounds good. But then your higher self is there and you say, yeah, but that doesn't really serve. I don't really want that right now. I'm more connected to my long-term goals. And so by going through the 5 pillars, kind of unlock that for you and help you get connected with your authentic self, your higher self that makes those choices. And it gets you connected and staying in that place, right? As opposed to how do I white knuckle and use my willpower, right? What kind of life would that be if we all had to be constantly, trying to avoid things? And that's a life of deprivation and life where we can never just settle in and enjoy our experiences. And so that is something that, I think people who find me, they understand, like, that's not an approach that is ever going to be sustainable for me. Maybe I lost a few, some weight over, because I was able to do it for 6 months or something like that. But how do I live my life with joy and flow and ease and have a nourishing relationship with food? When that is the case, then our bodies release extra weight automatically, and we get to feel the freedom, right, that comes with that, connected to our wise, powerful, courageous women that we are. So it's hard to put in a succinct way how it's different, but I think that's a good summary of, this. We're not talking about a diet, although there is nutrition guidance and there is, the opportunity to be a scientist and figure out the kinds of foods, maybe some intolerances that are causing inflammation and weight loss resistance. Or maybe some foods that are causing me to have cravings or just not feel good in my body, mind, and spirit. And so we get to explore that, but we do it from a place of the wisdom of the body, not from a place of, all right, here's your keto carb grams that you get to have today. And I'm not knocking anything in particular. If that works for you and that's what your body wants, then I'm going to help you to do that. But for most people, you know, there's a little bit of a experimentation process that we need to go through to figure out what your body needs. And when we're working with your body instead of against it, then we reach our goals so much more easily and in a way that we don't have to ever think about it again. We just get into a rhythm and a beautiful relationship with food. And so it's very joyful, especially if food has been your enemy for most of your life, which for most of the people I work with, that's the case. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And if there's time, I just wanted to share, if you think it's appropriate, just what my experience has been working with you.
That would be so phenomenal. Anna has been really diving into and working in the Freedom Program. And so I think your experience would be invaluable, and I'd appreciate it very much if you could share with people, because it's different. And so it's hard to know, you know, what it's like. So as an insider, I think your insight would be incredibly helpful.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say I've asked Lori the questions that I've asked her because genuinely I would be interested in doing it again. So that's why I asked. So it's not staged or anything like that. I just wanted to just clear that up. And also, I have to tell you that I've repeated the program with Lori already. I've taken it more than once. And as you see, I'm coming to the challenge. And I just come because I feel so grateful that life has connected me with Lori. You know, there's just a fit there for me. And I want to say about the program, what my experience was with the program. Prior to coming to her, I was going through a phase where I was just really binging, I mean, really excessively, and putting on a lot of weight, and there was emotional things going on. I had, you know, some deaths that had occurred that are close to me that were unexpected. And there was a lot going on, and I just was really concerned about myself and my well-being. And I actually came into this program because I just wanted to lose weight and get back in shape. And that was really my reason for coming, because I needed some kind of help and support because it wasn't working. I couldn't click off on my own, you know. So that's why I came, and that's usually what takes me to any diet program that I've been attracted to in the past. It was always with the intention, I want to go, I want to lose weight, and then I want to just get on with my life. But what I found with Lori's program was that it was really much more than like a diet. First of all, there is no diet plan. It's really, well, from my perspective, a diet plan meaning like really restrictive and count calories and you have to do this. It's not that. I mean, there's definitely guidance about nutrition. There's a whole component on nutrition and detoxing and how to nourish your body with supplements, and it's just awesome in that way. But the whole program for me has been it's lifestyle changing. It's like a lifestyle enhancement. So if I was to describe it from my personal experience, I came for a diet program that was going to help me to lose weight, and I stayed in the program. And what I've gotten from the program is how to enhance my life by really coming to understand myself. Like, why did I even start overeating to begin with? Like, really just an opportunity to reflect on these things and loving. And it was the whole foundation for me. It helped me, and it's continuing to help me to first and foremost accept myself for where I have been in the past and where I am right now and where I want to go, and to love every aspect of that, the past, the present, and the future, and to embrace all that and to acknowledge that none of it is wrong. Nothing that I did in the past was wrong. It was an experience I had that now I have that experience that I can really build my now and my tomorrow from. And then of course we're given skills, how to do it. And but then there's so much, like I'm looking at like how I thinking, looking at my thoughts, looking at my beliefs, looking at my habits, just really exploring, but in a very gentle manner. And then having like suggestions or programs that help me to then now, okay, so instead of eating, what else can I do? So now there's the program then gives all this all of these alternatives that I can do instead of eating, right? Like I can pause and I can breathe and I can question my experience and I can meditate. I can create, like this kind of a relationship with those parts of me that in the past I found challenging. So it's a very well organized program. But I think what I love most of all is Lori. I love her authenticity. I mean, I haven't missed many of the weekly meetings at all, and when I have, it's because I had no choice. There was other commitment that I could not take, that I could not, get out of. And I have to tell you that what I love about Lori is that consistently, she's very consistent. So in the weekly meetings, like she's just available. She's available. She's present. She listens to all of us. She's just real, and that's what I love about her. And that's why I come to her challenges and all that. I really enjoy just her essence, and she's really helped me. And I'll pause here. She's helped me to really love myself and to appreciate myself and to see my greatness and my grandness. And now I'm really loving who I am, and I'm loving my life, and I'm being patient with myself, and I'm consistently working on myself. I know that I'll get to where I need to get to, but I'm having this opportunity to really clean house. I came just to be restricted, but now I have an opportunity to really clean house. Clean house meaning looking at A to Z, looking at all aspects of who I am, and having an opportunity to really bring all of that into integration and balance and harmony. And then it's reflecting that, and it's affecting now how I'm relating to the world and everyone else. I'll pause there. So it's been really a great experience for me. And I just love Lori's authenticity. And that's what really attracts me most to the program, is just how she is, who she is, and her sincerity, and she's very real. And I don't know how, but for some reason she can relate to a lot of the things that we go through. Many of them she says she's gone through herself. I say I don't know how because I can't see how a person could be pleasant if you've experienced all the things that I told you that I've experienced. But then I can see how, because I'm becoming pleasant too,
Yeah.
and I'm leaving behind all the sorrows of the past. So I'll pause there. But thank you so much, Lori.
Yeah, that's just so beautiful for me to hear. The parts that really just made my heart leap. It was, I'm loving yourself and seeing your greatness. Like that is, whoa! I have goosebumps. How beautiful that is, and how different life is. And I will admit, I brag about the gift that the universe gave me, in that I see the greatness in you. I see the greatness in you before you do. And I am able to help you bring it out. And that makes me so excited that is my gift. And so I don't take it lightly, and it brings me so much joy as people learn to embrace their greatness. And Anna, your greatness is certainly abundant. And I have enjoyed this journey, just watching you and being a part of that process for you. And so I appreciate your kindness towards me, and the love is very mutual, certainly. But I also appreciate you letting people know, because this is so different, right? And so they're like, how does that work? What would that be like for me? So your experience is super valuable for people understanding what they might expect, what they can expect for themselves. So hello, beautiful Jane. I know you came in after we kind of went through some of the content and stuff, but and the replay will be available for you to, get caught up on the things that we talked about. But I'd love to answer a question for you if you have one. Otherwise, you might watch the replay and then have a question, which of course I'd be available to answer for you. Or if you wanted to jump on a call and talk about how you're going to carry your work that you've done in the challenge so far, how you're going to carry that forward, that would be certainly, I'd love to do that too.
I'll just have to wait and go through it and see what I missed.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe, if you feel like it's a lot, it's overwhelming, we can always just chat and we can see where you are and what you might need. But thank you for being here, all three of you, and Kristen too. And all of you on the replay, I've loved getting to know you this week. I do not see this, even though it's the last day of the challenge, it's certainly not the end of anything, because, you know, we're gonna, if you're motivated, if you're somebody who is ready for the real change, then we're gonna find a way to work together. And I'm also going to be having future challenges and just continue to support you and provide content. Hopefully you've had the chance to be in the Freedom channel and you've gone into there, saw the free webinars and master classes and all the things. I'm continually adding more resources there. So if you haven't looked in a while, definitely check it out, because there's several challenges and master classes and other things that you can look to for more help and guidance. So I appreciate you all. I look forward to the calls coming up with you beautiful, beautiful souls, and to, you know, all of you who are ready to explore your greatness and overcome these challenges once and for all. We're going to start together on September 9th, and it's going to be an amazing journey. And so I'm looking forward to welcoming as many of you that are ready, and we'll be off. Okay, my beautiful ladies, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.